He was just by himself.
He's been there for a while.
On October 10th, 2023, Milwaukee police walked into a house of horrors for investigation. But what waited behind that door would haunt them for years to come. Inside, they uncovered the body of a boy severely decomposed and crawling with maggots. It wasn't just a death, but a slow, silent descent into horror.
I was told him that he was sweet, that he wasn't alive.
When was the last time you saw Jacarie?
I haven't seen my son in over 3 years.
Okay.
Every time when I would call Lamont and ask him, can I see my son, he would tell me no.
Like, was he tied up?
You know, he had some pretty strong bones in his body that were broken, and they're very strong bones, okay? Like, everyone can break their nose, right? It's fairly easy to break your nose, but like, your leg, it's pretty hard to break.
For the last 2 days, I think, I wasn't breathing. For the last 2 days.
On October 10th, 2023, the Milwaukee Police Department received a call that carried the weight of urgency. On the other end of the call was Jay Moye, a brother in distress, shaken by what he had just witnessed. His younger sibling was in a state that no one could imagine. Officers responded quickly, arriving at the 4100 block of Elmhurst Road around 6:15 p.m.
There's one privacy recording.
With questions clouding their thoughts, they stepped inside the house, unaware of the dark scene that was waiting for them.
Milwaukee Police! If you're in here, announce yourself. If anyone else is in here. I'm taking the basement.
Alright, you got anything on your side?
Just hold that side.
Alright, the basement?
Yep.
I'll hold the entrance.
As the investigation progressed, they were about to uncover something more disturbing than they had ever expected. And it was a house of horrors. The entire house was in complete disarray.
Apparently people are supposed to be living here? Ugh.
Just closed. Let me check under the bed. Bed under the bed looks clear.
Did you check in there?
There.
No working shower. That's crazy.
The toilet was overflowing with human waste, and mold had covered the sink and spread across the shower walls. Trash was piled high with rotting food, stained furniture, and filthy floors. The air in the apartment was heavy, with a strong, bad smell that stuck to everything. The scene in front of the officers left them stunned, but the worst was yet to come. Amid the chaos and filth, investigators made a horrifying discovery. Tucked underneath a blanket was the body of Jacarie Robinson. His severely emaciated body was covered in maggots, and he barely weighed 54 pounds. The signs of moderate decomposition made it clear that he had been dead for some time. Severely malnourished and left to rot in the very place which meant to shelter him, Jacarie's death was nothing short of tragic and deeply disturbing.
Yeah, he's been there for a minute. Have we seen anything goofy on the ground?
Goofy?
Yeah,
Like in what sort? For something suspicious?
just something that catches the eyeball.
I mean, besides the person.
Is this house occupied?
It's apparently he was just staying here.
Where's the DOE?
Right here.
Right here.
Oh.
Doesn't even look lifelike.
He was just by himself.
He's been there for a while. That guy looks like someone wrapped him up like that, put a blanket over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that top, t-shirt on his.
Especially if the blanket and the t-shirt is over his head when they come in here.
Was that part by his shoulder, the blanket, was it over his head, or?
I'm assuming MFD came in here and probably removed that back. But you got 2 pairs of sandals here. You got those female bags
yeah,
here.
Purses, too.
And no one else was in here with him, just him?
Apparently his brother just checked up on him because he hasn't heard from him. That's brother outside. I guess he's supposed to be living with dad.
So this was probably mom's residence?
Are there male or female clothes?
A lot of it's the rooms that me and Hillshire checked, they were females.
God, that's
With little
gross.
girl clothes.
Probably mom. Or some sort of family member.
Well, where's family at?
No working toilet. Wonder if this is just a nasty case of neglect.
Probably. Who's Brianna? To daddy.
Probably the,
One
his
of the
sister.
two?
As they moved further into the apartment, horror only escalated. With garbage piled on the kitchen floor and trash covering the table, the scene painted a sickening picture of residents' living conditions. The sink was also coated with thick mold, and even the working refrigerator was stuffed with spoiled meals. It was clear Jacarie had been living in the filthy condition long before he died. To dig deeper into the situation, investigators began canvassing the area to gather more information about his family.
Oh, okay. You live here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so our captain wanted us to talk to neighbors to see if you guys seen any activity at that residence, anybody going in and out within the past week.
There's always that one family with the dad and then the girls. That's it.
Okay. Did you see them outside, like, in the week, this past week at all?
They're always outside. They come out.
How about the little brother?
Actually, I didn't know they even had a little brother until they said so. I always thought it was all girls. I
Okay,
don't pay them
okay.
attention. They little. My kids all adults.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I see them, but I wave at the dad. That's about it.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay.
This information came as an utter shock to the officers, surrounded by more questions than answers. How did his own neighbors never see him outside? This began painting a dark picture of his life, and then they met with someone who did see him, but not in a very good state.
Hello. Hi. So our captain wanted us to talk to neighbors to see if you guys seen any activity going on at that house in the past week. Any like kids playing outside? Like our main person that we're asking for is a little boy.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Okay.
You remember last time we seen him? When they was walking to the store?
Like a month ago.
A month ago? Okay. Okay.
Is he okay? The little boy?
He's deceased. Yeah. What were you guys, when you guys did see him, how would you guys describe him? Like, was he playful? Was he quiet?
You could tell he was
Weak?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Like, did nobody know? Like, the other girls didn't know about the brother?
Yeah, there was no one in the house when we got on scene. So I don't know if the dad and the girls went somewhere else or what, but there was no one here. Yeah, so.
I can tell you that dad is weird. He's really super quiet.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
I guess the grandma had told us that she talked to dad a couple days ago and he said the child was fine. But it doesn't look like the child was alive a couple days ago. He's been there for, I would say, more than a week.
Yeah.
So.
So was he hiding? Or was he just, like, in his room?
Oh, no, he's just in the living room.
Oh.
Investigators estimated he may have been dead for nearly a month before anyone found him. Then, Jacarie's mother also arrives at the scene. Though she didn't live here, she had to answer for what they had just walked into.
I'm sorry, okay? So you're mom of Jacarie? When was the last time you saw Jacarie?
I haven't seen my son in over 3 years.
Okay.
Every time when I would call Ramon and ask him, can I see my son? He would tell me no, he's too bad. I said, Ramon, a kid is never that bad where they can't see their mom. That's his bull. I texted Ramon early today. I was at work. I texted him over and over. I said, Ramon, when can I come and see? Can Jacarie come over? I got the girls. Can I get Jacarie? He said, Jacarie will be with you very soon. He said, I'm too weak right now to bring him to you, but I will make sure that he gets to you today. I said, okay, fine. Then I had mentioned my son. I said, well, Zayas can come and get him and bring him over to me. Then I get a call, just getting off from work. I got a call. My daughter said, Mama, I knew it. They found him dead.
She showed officers the texts she had been sending to Jacarie's father, urging him to meet her son.
When you texted Ramon, did he ever respond to
Yes,
you?
he did. Yes, he did.
He responded to you today?
Yes, he did, several times.
Okay, and what did he say to you?
I'm going to read them to you right now. Okay, this is the number he texted me from right here. Oh, come on, this phone. Oh, it's just such a jerk. Here it is right here. This is what he said. He said, I don't have enough, he pretty much saying he don't have no energy to bring Jacarie to me. And I just kept texting. And then I said, because he had told me, I know he got, and I said, you're going to be okay. You're going to, prayer works and all this other stuff. He said, I'm not feeling good. He said, but I will, pretty much bring Jacarie. He said, yes, I have Jacarie. Yes, I have. Pretty much, I got Jacarie here. Jacarie's fine.
With her help, officers were able to determine how Jacarie's father, Jay Moye, was trying to hide something from everyone, and they needed to speak to him as soon as possible. It also came to light that he was not only denying his mother contact with him, but he had even been isolating Jacarie for months, refusing to let anyone visit or even check on him. Jacarie's mother then gave a possible reason behind Romuald's ill treatment of their son.
And it's so funny because he sent me a text. He said, I need you to watch the kids. He said, because I need to go to the hospital. And I said, really? So I'm thinking, did he hit Jacarie too hard with something and Jacarie just bled out or something? And he lay down and just probably died or something? I don't know. I'm just thinking about, I don't know. I'm just all over the place.
It's all the what happened, where did it go wrong kind of scenarios right now.
What he could have possibly did to take your son's damn life. I understand you going through, you just lost your girlfriend. I understand that. Damn, your son, come over, Mom. He's better than that, man. He's better than that.
Did he tell you where he was at when you talked to him?
No. He just said, I told him I was going to come and get Jacarie when I got off from work. And he said, no, I'm going to bring Jacarie. He said, Jacarie will be with you very soon. That's what he said. Jacarie's coming to you very soon.
Right. And did you guys just is this a new girlfriend or it's been a couple years that
he's been with, but she's passed too now.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, he couldn't cope with that, with her dying, because I guess they were supposed to be getting married the next day as she passed. So I don't know if he just couldn't cope off with her death and just took it out on Jacarie. I don't know. I don't know.
He had been keeping the boy away from the family for the last few months, claiming Jacarie had been acting really bad. Jacarie lived in the house with his father and 2 other siblings, but to everyone's surprise, Romuald had already sent his teenage daughters to their mother's home, choosing to keep only Jacarie with him.
I talked to Jacarie about maybe about 5 weeks ago. I had got the girls again. I said, Jacarie, Romuald, where's Jacarie? He said, he right here. I said, Jacarie, man, you gotta be good so you can come over and have some fun with us. He said, okay, Mama. That was it. That was the last conversation we had.
And when was that conversation when he said, okay? Do you remember?
About 5 weeks ago, maybe.
About a little over a month ago?
Yeah.
Okay. But otherwise, you haven't talked to him since? Okay. How'd you get the other girls, or the other kiddos?
Well, my called me and said that when I keep the kids. He said, do you got to work today? I said, no, I'm off. He said, is it okay if you get the girls? I said, yeah, bring them over. I'm off today. He said, because I need to go to the hospital. I said, oh, really? I said, what's wrong with you? He said, I just need to go to the hospital right now. I don't know if it was because of that. I don't know.
The officers soon realized they had not just stepped into a home, but it was an evil father's house of horrors who didn't think twice before abandoning his son. To dig deeper, detectives turned to the person who had made the heartbreaking discovery, Jacarie's older brother, Jay.
You're the one that found your brother, right? Was the door unlocked or was it locked? It was unlocked? Okay. Is he supposed to have a cell phone with him?
Jacarie?
Yeah.
He have a cell phone, but I don't even think that is on.
Okay.
I don't even think that is on, bro.
How long ago did you start getting concerned for him?
I've been concerned for like the last month, but it really got serious like within the last week.
Yeah.
Cause I was distant. My dad been dodging. Every time I come over here to like drop the kids off or something to him, he'd say he's not here. But I'm like, how you not here if you just told them? So I came here because he been texting me today saying he only got a couple days left to live. Like yesterday, last couple of days, he been telling me like his been messing with him. He said he only got a couple days left to live, this and that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Dad, he said he don't want us to see him like that. So he been staying away from us. So I'm like, Dad, I need to see you. Like, if you only got a couple of days left to live, I need to see you. You had me for the last couple of years. I'm like, if it's that serious, I need to spend time with you before you leave. So he been telling me like, no, I don't have the energy right now. As soon as I get the energy, son, I would definitely you can definitely see me. So I'm like, I just knew. I'm like, no, something.
You just felt something wasn't right.
I just knew it because I'm like, you don't never dodge me like this. You never dodge me like this. So when I finally got over here, I stood at the door. I called his name. I was at the door just calling my dad, and I'm like, Dad, if you in there, please come out. I thought he was just lying about not being here. So when I opened the door the first time, nobody was in there.
Jay explained that his suspicions grew when their father began frequently complaining about being ill and constantly avoided contact. The last time he saw Jacarie alive was on his birthday in August, and even then, Jay remembered how alarmingly thin his younger brother looked. He described their father as a strict disciplinarian, someone who believed in harsh consequences, though he insisted that physical punishment wasn't something he often used. Now they had their person, and they needed answers which only Romuan could provide. But to their surprise, he was nowhere to be seen. It took almost 4 months for them to receive a tip that led them to Romuan's whereabouts, and he was apprehended on February 25, 2024.
Hands up. What's your name? Yep. Don't do it.
We have Ramon.
Yeah.
Nurse.
See the nurse?
Okay, I have to do one more.
They swiftly brought him in for questioning. Unbeknownst to them, what he was going to reveal would shock them to their core. Romuan was prepared to share everything he knew about his son's death, speaking in his own words that would stay with the investigators for the rest of their lives.
I mean, the main thing that we're wondering here is what happened with Jacarie.
All types of custody or you hear him or you try to attack you or all the other girls. Then it started getting to where he just wanted to this still alive.
Still alive? So he had some discipline problems?
Yeah, a lot.
What was he stealing?
Just like food, and I couldn't understand that further because he was getting fair.
Romuan began casting blame on his own deceased son, telling detectives that Jacarie had behavioral problems. He also told the officers that Jacarie's mother had no involvement in their son's death. He was simply overwhelmed by the death of his girlfriend Sarah, which had caused him to withdraw from everyone. But to call him merely detached would be a dangerous understatement, because what he revealed next would uncover the horrific, ravenous death of Jacarie.
So Sarah passes. You have that to deal with. And you're unable to mourn yourself. And then you have the 3 kids that you have to watch. And I'm guessing everything just kind of piles up. It gets way too much.
Sure. Pretty much.
So, when was the last time you saw Jacarie?
October 10th.
October 10th? When's the last time that Jacarie ate before October 3rd?
for the last 2 days, I think. I wasn't there for the last 2 days.
2 days? Okay. Why specifically Jacarie? Because the girls were well fed.
I just like hearing all of a sudden everybody.
So was Jacarie able to go into the kitchen and grab food if he wanted to, or no? What would happen if Jacarie went into the kitchen and grabbed something to eat?
Actually, I wasn't even paying attention.
It was the most heartbreaking revelation so far. Jacarie had not been allowed in the kitchen of his own will and had been starved for days before his death. This explained his emaciated body, with bones visible beneath his skin, discovered initially by detectives that not only spoke of his prolonged suffering, but also the chilling negligence of Romuan under his supervision, a crime that had been concealed in his murder house. Yet Romuan's chilling words didn't deter him. He continued detailing his second-by-second control over Jacarie.
I mean, was Jacarie like, he was free to walk around the house and everything, right? So were you just, what would have happened if Jacarie went and got food?
At the time, I probably would have still told him no. But a lot of times I was outside.
Because there was food in his pockets.
There was food in there. I don't know. Like a lot of times I was outside.
So if Jacarie pulled something out of his pocket and started eating it in front of you when he was on a timeout, what would you do?
I don't know, because I never saw him.
Was he fearful? Like if you knew he couldn't do that, right? Like, so he knew if he did that there would be a whooping probably, right?
The dreadful sight of interrogation haunted the detectives to know more, that Jacarie was hiding food in his pockets to survive, only to meet a terrible death. On the other side, when the officers continued to question Romuan, he initially pretended, claiming he was merely controlling his son without considering the potential consequences. However, to claim he didn't realize his actions could be fatal is a blatant lie, because moments later, his statements clearly illustrate his intention.
What do you think caused Jacarie to die?
Probably from those last days not
eating. It was malnutrition. Why'd you continue then?
Well, like I said, to that part I have no idea.
So he passes on the 3rd. The couple of days before that, did you know that he was getting close?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize.
You didn't even realize?
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
So after he passes, what do you do?
I was in shock, and I just stood there like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I did was I just sat there, like in the house with him. I didn't know what to do.
Did you think about calling for help? Can I ask why?
I don't even know why. I just didn't. I probably because I'm shocked. I didn't do I was scared. Because I never ever heard him die. So I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was afraid.
How long did you stay with him?
I stayed with him a week.
Romuan also admitted to committing an extremely disturbing act after Jacarie had died. Despite the devastating reality before him, he made the shocking decision to continue living with the dead body under the same roof. His attempts to cover up were revealed as he recounted what he had demonstrated to his daughters, who were present in the house while Jacarie was laying in the pool of death just rooms away.
So when did the girls leave before Jacarie? At what point did the girls leave?
After I noticed that he wasn't alive. I didn't have I seen him like that.
Okay. So you said the last time Jacarie was alive was October 3rd, correct?
Yeah.
Is that when the girls decided, you got the girls out of there?
Yeah, I got them out there.
Did they see Jacarie?
Yeah.
They saw him on the ground? Did they know what was going on with Jacarie?
I just told him he was sweet.
Jacarie's death was not simply the result of starvation and neglect. He was severely injured, and the man responsible was Romuan. In the following minutes, you will see exactly how he twisted the events into seemingly casual punishments given to Jacarie. This fabricated narrative also drew the attention of two detectives.
What about the whoopings? Because he had some pretty serious injuries. Can you describe these whoopings to us?
I just remember I just whooped him.
I mean, would you punch him? Would you, like, how would you whoop him? I mean, what?
I had something.
Would you hit him with something?
Yeah, like a shoe or something like that.
With a shoe or, okay. Was it always something different?
Oh, yeah, I remember the shoe.
The shoe?
You know, he had some pretty strong bones in his body that were broken, and they were at various stages of healing, which means they happened over a period of time, and they were healing, and they're very strong bones.
During questioning, Romuan also confessed to shocking acts of mistreatment, beating his own son with shoes. However, they knew beating with the shoe alone would not cause serious injuries. As the officers pressed Romuan further, they uncovered not only what he had done to Jacarie, but also what had been hidden inside the murder house, when they discovered a significant amount of suffering that never showed up in the autopsy report.
There were quite a lot of bottles of, like, pee in the living room. Was he allowed to go and use the toilet at all, or did he have to stay just in the living room?
He would stay in the living room, because if he went to the bathroom, he had to take his sneak off and do other stuff, so I just had him pee there.
Okay.
So he wasn't free to roam about the house?
Not at a certain, like if he was going not by himself, no.
Okay. How would you prevent him from going and, I mean, would you, like, was he tied up? Was he, like, kind of put in an area where he couldn't move? Like,
yeah, put it inside the area.
Okay. And how would you keep him from getting out of that area?
Just have him sit there.
Just have him sit there?
Each word above depicted the most inhuman acts committed by the father. However, even after taking all these steps, Romuan remained unsatisfied with his actions, or perhaps this time, he was afraid of the consequences that led him to impersonate someone else on Facebook, telling everyone Jacarie was all fine. Although by the end, Romuan clearly demonstrated that he was not in the right state of mind and showed no concern about upsetting anyone. But considering the facts, it was revealed that he had complete control over Jacarie. Each of Romuan's actions was calculated and terrifying in its precision. What Jacarie endured wasn't just physical torment. It was the systematic stripping away of human dignity, piece by piece. The judge described the case as a horror movie because of the extreme cruelty and neglect. On August 29, 2024, Romuan Jay Moye pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless homicide, ongoing child neglect, and failure to report a death. He was sentenced to 47.5 years in prison, followed by 25 years of extended supervision. Meanwhile, Jacarie's family is devastated by his loss and the horrific circumstances of it.